Hello, be welcome here to one more video, and this video I will talk about a topic that many people have doubts about, that is poverty in Brazil. Is Brazil poor or unequal? Because many people when come here, many foreigners see a lot of communities, low-income communities, and side by side rich apartments, condominiums, and things like this. And what is happening here in Brazil that we have this inequality? Okay, so I'm a native here, live here for the last 35 years. That's my age of living. And what happens here in Brazil? Brazil, for you that don't know, has actually one of the highest tax in the world. Okay, we'll have a new change in the taxes law, and actually the taxes will increase and will be the highest tax in the world this year, now 2023. Okay, nowadays the taxes are higher in the products. Okay, who pays the more more amount of taxes? Who buys things? Because the taxes are in the product. Okay, and this new change in the tax law will take all these product taxes and put only one single tax, like the IVA. Okay, and it will be like 28% for the product. Okay, something like bizarre. Okay, and the main problem here in Brazil is not only the tax, because if we had the biggest tax in the world, okay, but we have a lot of other hidden taxes that doesn't count in this mathematics. Okay, for example, we have severe labor laws here in Brazil. Okay, severe labor laws, one of the most severe labor laws in the world. Okay, people just go to the court, they don't lose anything, and they put like against the companies, like random, and that's it. This makes a cost to the companies in general here in Brazil. And who pays this tax, this cost? Guess who buys? Brazilians. Okay, so this is a tax that are in all the products that people normally don't put on. And we have another terrible thing here, that is the consumer laws. These are worsened because it's the same logic. If somebody buys something and he doesn't like these products or something like this, he just go to the judge and put a action against the company, and if he loses, he doesn't pay anything. Okay, something like this. So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of these kinds of actions in the justice against companies, and most of them are false. Okay, some of them are true, some of them are false, but a lot of them are false, and it generates a big significant cost to the companies, mainly to the big companies. So we have a lot of these kind of things in airlines. Okay, here in Brazil. That's the reason. That's not only the reason. The other reasons I mentioned here in the beginning of the video, but this is some extra cost that mainly big companies have to deal with. Okay, so this is another tax. So some of air companies don't work here in Brazil because of this, and the few companies that really works here in Brazil put less flights and reason the cost of the flight. So here in Brazil, the basic products like food, like as I mentioned, the basic stuff is very expensive. This affects the purchase power in the population. And who buys more things usually? I mean, like, who spend the more percentage of the wages, let me say, in food, in flight, and something like this? Obviously, the poor and the middle class. So these kinds of laws are rising year by year in the last like decades, okay? For example, these consumer laws were created like in 1980 or 1990, something like this. And the labor laws were created in 1940, 1930, something like this. And these kinds, Brazil has experienced a raise in the taxes that is very progressive, increasing in the past of the decades, and progressively are making things get more expensive to us Brazilians. The purchase power is going down, but slowly, decade by decade, very slowly. And actually, we see no sign of this getting better. I always say in my video that this is not getting better, because Brazilians are not convinced yet of the problems, really convinced in a number that is enough to change something, okay? Because the majority of people here in Brazil don't know really what is happening, but this thing is getting worse decade by decade. I will get to the point, okay? The inequality here and the poverty, okay? Wait a little bit. So what is going on really in Brazil? We have this kind of going down stability forever. And I remember in my old parents' time, one single man could work and sustain 7 children here in Brazil and can buy a home. In my parents' time, 2 persons were necessary to work and sustain 2 kids. Nowadays, 1 person, 2 persons cannot even eat. They need to be like get help from their parents, okay? Because the purchase power is so low because of things that I mentioned in this video, that the money doesn't buy anything anymore, okay? I'm talking in the perspective of the Brazilians, okay? I need to be very clear in this point, okay? For the foreign, that's great, because when the real is depreciating, you foreign is making more money here in Brazil. Your dollar is valuing more here in Brazil, okay? So you win, we lose. That's the simple mathematics, okay? I'm not saying that things in Brazil are extremely expensive compared to, let me say, other place that is the most cheap place in the world. I'm not saying like this, but after what happened in 2020, everything got more expensive in all around the world, okay? In Brazil, still one of the cheapest place for you foreign. For us Brazilians, it's terrible. The purchase power is even getting worse and worse and worse and worse, okay? So what happened that you see a lot of poor communities side by side with high luxury condominiums, and why you see so many people asking for money in the streets and things like this. This asking for money problem in the streets and these informal jobs we have here in Brazil, this happened because there is no jobs, okay? The government simply destroyed the economy with these kind of things that I mentioned, with the forever going down stability in the economy, okay? So the government simply destroyed the economy, the entrepreneurship, desire of the population, okay, sure, understood, okay. But this means that's impossible to get rich in Brazil? No, it doesn't mean like that, okay? We have a lot of rich, but if you take overall of the population in Brazil, and we have over 240 million people in Brazil, just go to the Forbes list and see how many Brazilians we have in the Forbes list, and how many United States people we have the Forbes list, and developed countries in the Forbes list, okay? Obviously, we have a lot of rich in Brazil because there are a lot of population, but the purchase power is low, okay? The purchase power here for us Brazilians to make money in real is very, very low, okay? So this inequality happens because we have a lot of people make a good amount of money to live here in Brazil, but if you look in dollars, it's not a lot of money. In dollars, it's not a lot of money. But the cost of living here in Brazil compared to United States is cheaper. So a person that makes a lot of money for Brazilian terms can live well here in Brazil in a good condominium because of the cost of living, but is low in dollars. Okay, they can live only in Brazil. So we have a small, very, very small niche of people that can have the basic that American have, that is a decent place to live, food of decent quality, okay, this kind of thing is a luxury here in Brazil. We have a very small percentage of the population that live like this, okay? And we have this mass of the real people here in Brazil that has to buy food with a very low purchase power, that we have to pay for all things that are very expensive with low purchase power. That is the reality of 80-90% of the population. That are these poor communities, these low-income regions. That is the majority. So, in the end of the day, the whole country is poor. Okay, not only one is rich and the other is poor. Everybody is poorer than they should. If Brazil wasn't like this ever down stability, everybody would be more rich. And if we have like free market, entrepreneurship here, culture minded, less bureaucracy, things like this, we would see these rich people here that are considered rich would be more rich, and the poor and the middle class here, low class here, would have the conditions of being in a better situation. So the inequality happens in all around the world. But the difference to a rich country is that the poor has a basic condition. It's very simple. Here in Brazil, the poor and the middle class, low, doesn't have a basic condition. It's only this the difference, okay? Then, so I hope this video helped you to clarify some things about Brazil. If you have some questions, put in the comments, and that's it. Thank you.